Welcome back to Insecurity. We are still in beautiful Las Vegas at CES 2020. A little different conversation right now. We're talking to Eric Hansen with Blue Prism. Eric, you're involved on the government side of things. You've got a title that I forgot, so I'm going to ask you.
Sure, I run our defense and intelligence programs.
So what is a nice boy like you doing at the Consumer Electronics Show?
You'd be amazed at where robotic process automation can go. We find a lot of our government customers want to get to AI, they want to get to machine learning, but they have processes, they have systems. They don't know how to get an algorithm into their systems. We're finding that robotic process automation can help integrate artificial intelligence into existing government systems efficiently and cost effectively, which is critical for the government.
Now, given that governments need to be very methodical in their vetting system, how much of an issue is that? I mean, if you're trying to do these things where you're letting robots do it instead of people, we know that's actually a helpful thing, but does the vetting process get in the way of you being able to do the things that can make their systems more efficient?
It's funny, that's a huge part of my job, which is education. Because right now, people equate automation with autonomous. We're not talking about autonomous robots that just run around and do their own things. We're talking about highly intelligent automation that does what it tells you to do, or does what you tell it to do, excuse me. And so that's a big education process with the government, that this is not an autonomous system that's going to fire weapons on its own or do other things that the government does that may not want to do autonomously. This is more of an intelligent system that you automate existing systems.
Now, when we say the government, that's wide-ranging, deep diving the whole thing. Where are the spots that are the best fit where Blue Prism is getting up to the most things that are helping out the citizen?
Sure, well obviously my role is defense and intelligence. We are focused on the things that government workers are doing that take no thought. It doesn't take thought to go to a website and pull on the weather. What you do with that information takes thought, but to actually get that information doesn't take thought. So we are looking at areas where hundreds and hundreds of government workers are doing things every day, very routinely, without any thought. And we're saying, wait a minute, we have a digital worker that can help with that task. And so that's where we're seeing the biggest value. And frankly, there was a lot of pushback initially because people were saying, well, you're going to take jobs. The feedback we're getting from government workers is, you're making my job better because you're taking away the things I don't want to do in the first place.
Right.
I don't want to go to a website and wait till it loads just to find out what the temperature outside is. And so we're actually finding that it's improving morale in the government to use digital automation.
People with real skill and experience can use that as opposed to doing some of the more mundane, repeatable tasks. Is this something that we're seeing used in combat areas on the defense side, or is this more along the lines of rear echelon where it's the type of support feature?
So that's a great question. I've been selling technology to the government for about 10 years now. And it has always, all the technologies I've seen move into the government before this have been on the mission side. You mentioned combat, I would call that the mission side. Hardcore intelligence, hardcore combat. With robotic process automation, it's exactly opposite. We're seeing it being adopted in finance, we're seeing it being adopted in logistics, human resources, all the back office functions, not necessarily the combat and the mission focus yet.
It's a business function that allow the military to do military things.
Yeah, and I think that's because it requires less thought. To move an invoice in a finance system, it's not a lot of thought involved. I need to open the email, I need to open the invoice, read the invoice, put it into the system, put that data into the system. I didn't do any thought in there. However, if you're downrange with a rifle, a lot more thought involved. Yeah. Do I go left, do I go right? So I think it's a function of that.
Well, and let's make sure that we're not diverting their thoughts from the things that are most important when you are moving your rifle.
Yeah, and I'm in a kind of a precarious spot because I was in the Army for 20 years, so I absolutely get what it means to walk with a rifle in your hand, but I'm also on the technology side. So I want to make sure that those guys have the right technology that they need, and not just more technology because someone thinks it's cool.
Yeah. So for folks looking for more information about what Blue Prism's up to, whole world, Eric,
yeah.
Eric, whole world?
BluePrism.com. Really, really exciting things. I think everybody is going to have robotic process automation in their home within the next 2 or 3 years. It's just saving time for things that don't take thought.
And if people want to hit you up, LinkedIn, you doing any of the Twittering or any of that stuff?
LinkedIn, absolutely. Eric Hansen on LinkedIn.
Easy enough to find. All right, and you know where we are. You can find all the good stuff that's going on at BlackBerry.com. We are at BlackBerry and at Cylance Inc. on Twitter. I'm Matt Stevenson. Look for me at PacMat73. We'll see you soon.